Hi, this is Lenny Sharp, Sharp Mountain Homes team of eXp Realty. And I'm here sitting on my deck outside my home office in Oakhurst, California, and I'd like to discuss the STR investment market here in this community near Yosemite National Park. I'm excited to launch my new YouTube channel, and we're going to be focused on all the issues that investors care about. So there will be an introduction to the Yosemite area short-term rental market. It encompasses several communities: Oakhurst, where I live, Mariposa, which is about 40 minutes down the highway from here, as well as Ahwahnee, Fish Camp, Bass Lake, Wawona, even Yosemite West inside the park. So there are many little pockets of vacation rental opportunity here in our market. In my channel, we'll be diving deep into the various communities, giving you a feel for the pluses and minuses of each one. Each location is slightly different. I like to think of it as micro diversification. So the park is huge. There's multiple highways to enter the park. In Oakhurst here, we're about 30 or 40 minutes from the south gate of Yosemite on Highway 41. In Mariposa, you enter on Highway 140. So in my channel, I will go into each of these communities. We'll talk about the various submarkets and what are the revenue projections you can expect to make, as well as specific issues around occupancy, seasonality, and the like, which are different depending on which community you're in. We'll also cover the rules and regulations. So there's two primary counties that service this market: Mariposa County and Madera County. The two counties have very different requirements in terms of permitting and licensing. And in subsequent videos, we'll go into those details, and I can help guide you through the process and make an investment decision that might be influenced by some of those factors. We'll also talk about how to evaluate and choose properties. So a big factor is, are you an investor that's looking for maximum ROI or cash-on-cash returns as your preeminent concern? Or is your objective to have a vacation house for your family and your friends to use and to rent it out on Airbnb or another platform to generate revenue and help defray the cost? So depending on your objectives, that might also guide you in terms of the home you choose, whether it's for maximum return on investment or personal use. And those aren't mutually exclusive, because of course a home that you want to use is probably going to be attractive to guests as well. So a big question is, why Yosemite and why this area in particular? What brings visitors here? So Yosemite attracts about 4 million visitors every year. The crowds are somewhat seasonal, with June and July being your biggest months, but there are guests that travel here year-round. One thing to consider is most large groups tend to plan their trip for the summer. And in the off-season, units that are either smaller or can be divided into smaller listings can help your occupancy and help to manage your revenue in the off-season. So that's something that we always look for. The flexibility of the floor plan. Can the master bedroom be split off into a separate unit? The house might be vacant, but you might be able to rent the master for $125 or $150 a night, boosting your occupancy and generating revenue even in the slow season. We'll also discuss amenities. So number one is a hot tub, and I'll show you in our market analysis, in almost every subsegment of this market, if you have a hot tub, you're going to generate higher revenue. And I would estimate anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 a year in additional revenue from having a hot tub. It's an amenity that guests really appreciate in this area. We'll talk about game rooms, pools, pretty much all the amenities that can help boost your listing, increase revenue, and increase occupancy. Another question is, how do I get boots on the ground? During the purchasing process, there's a series of inspections to do. I'm going to introduce you to some of the people I use and talk you through the various inspections that are required. and then how to address those issues that come up in your purchase process. But then, of course, after you're operating, you also have need for cleaners, of course, handymen, perhaps a contractor, and even a property manager. And I can connect you with the right people that have success in this area in all of those disciplines. So let's say you found a great property and you go through the process, and maybe it's a little bit of a fixer. A lot of homes up here are a little bit older, so they may need some freshening up or maybe even a full remodel. So I've got contractors that I work with that I've had great experience with for other clients, and we can get you quotes even as you're in the purchase process to help inform your offer or perhaps your response to the repairs that come up. So we can make sure that you're equipped with all the information you need to make an informed decision and great investment. Again, as we discuss the various subsegments of this market, we'll show you the area on a map. You can see the distances to the park, distances to the key sites and attractions inside the park, and that will help give you a feel for the area. But also, just to give you an idea of the other service I provide many clients. So let's say we're discussing a handful of listings and they look good on paper, you've looked at the photos, you've run the numbers, you like the area in general, maybe you have seen it, maybe you haven't, but you're just not convinced maybe between 2 or 3 properties or which properties are going to be on your short list for that drive up the mountains to see them in person. So a service I can provide is a preview video. I'll do a walkthrough. I'll actually talk through my observations as it relates to short-term rental. And that will help you make an informed decision before you even make the trip up the mountain. As an operator, you're going to want to take advantage of modern tools. So there's a variety of tools and services, apps that you can use both to help select your property as well as to manage it after you're operating. So I use AirDNA to do revenue projections as my baseline, but it's really important if you use a service like AirDNA or Rabu or Awning to make sure that you're looking closely at the comps that are feeding the data that the site is using to generate the revenue projections. Because quite frankly, not all properties that are 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and 6 or 8 guests are exactly the same. So it's important to look at those comps in detail, do your comparison. Is this property that I'm looking at that's feeding this algorithm that's projecting revenue, is it equivalent? Is it much better than the property I'm considering? Or is it inferior? So you can take all those things into consideration. The other thing I recommend is as you look at those properties, look at the actual listings on Airbnb or VRBO and read the reviews, because that will also give you insight into the specific likes and dislikes of the guests of that property, either calling out details, amenities, the neighborhood. Those are all factors that can influence your decision and help you choose the right property for you. So some of the tools that we use to manage our Airbnbs are Hospitable, which provides automated messaging and calendar management, and Price Labs for dynamic pricing. Both of these tools allow us to manage our bookings in a very efficient way. And in addition, I use RankBreeze to take a look at the performance of our listing and specifically how the listings stack up in terms of search. Airbnb is essentially a search engine matching guests with hosts, and you want to be on the front page just like a Google search. What can you do to optimize your listing to get the premium placement and most exposure? RankBreeze is a tool that I use for that. But again, I'll have videos on this channel that will go into all these tools and all these topics. I would encourage you to click the link below to set up an appointment so we can chat about your objectives and your goals for a short-term rental in this area. I can guide you through the process. I can help you select a property and walk you step by step through everything you need to acquire, set up, ramp up, and successfully operate a vacation rental near Yosemite National Park. This is Lenny Sharp, Sharp Mountain Homes team, eXp Realty. I look forward to talking to you.